Good evening, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Nepalese Prime Minister PM Oli resigns amid spiralling anti-corruption protests. Prime Minister Narendra Modi undertakes aerial survey of flood-affected areas of Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. We now are taking you to Punjab. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is interacting with NDRF and rescue agencies personnel. This is in the context of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Punjab to review the flood rescue and relief situation. Those visuals coming in from Punjab. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting with personnel of the NDRF who are engaged in relief and rescue efforts in flood-hit Punjab. Prime Minister reviewing photographs and pictures which showcase the kind of effort that the rescue agencies have had to put in. And here in the visuals, Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting with various stakeholders as far as the rescue and relief efforts in flood-hit Punjab are concerned. Earlier today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also took stock of the flood situation in Himachal Pradesh. And these visuals are coming in from Punjab. Prime Minister Modi interacting with relief workers in the state of Punjab. Punjab has been hit by unprecedented floods this monsoon season. Wide-scale damage has been reported with the flood waters. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Punjab today to take stock of the flood-related devastation. In these visuals, Prime Minister interacting with relief workers from SDRF, NDRF and other agencies engaged in relief efforts in the northern Indian state of Punjab. Earlier today, Prime Minister took an aerial survey of the flood-hit parts of the state of Punjab. And in these visuals, Prime Minister interacting with relief workers in the state of Punjab who are playing a key role in extending support and help to people affected by the flood waters in the state of Punjab. Earlier today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited flood-affected North Indian state of Punjab. He conducted an aerial survey to take stock of the flood-affected areas. Here in the visuals, he is looking at pictures, interacting with relief workers. Those pictures depict the manner in which the relief work has been carried out under inclement circumstances. Prime Minister also interacted earlier with families of those who have been affected by the floods in the state of Punjab. And in these visuals, Prime Minister interacting with members of the relief and rescue teams who are playing a critical role in extending all support to people affected by the unprecedented floods in the state of Punjab. Significant damage has been reported due to floods and heavy rains this monsoon season. Prime Minister today earlier visited Himachal Pradesh. He took an aerial survey, engaged with various stakeholders, including the locals in Kangra. And thereafter, Prime Minister travelled to Punjab, where he took an aerial survey of the flood-affected areas in North Indian state of Punjab. He engaged with various stakeholders in Punjab as well. In these visuals, Prime Minister engaging with the relief workers, members of the relief and rescue teams, namely SDRF and NDRF. And earlier, Prime Minister also interacted with the locals in Punjab, families of those who have been severely affected by the floods. Two states in focus as Prime Minister takes stock of the ground situation as far as the flood-related devastation is concerned. Two states that Prime Minister visited today. First, Himachal Pradesh, the North Indian hilly state of Himachal Pradesh. And now, Prime Minister is in the northern state of Punjab. Both these states have experienced devastating impact of floods and heavy rains this monsoon season. In these visuals, Prime Minister engaging with the members of the relief and rescue teams, learning firsthand about the challenges faced by them, sharing his insights. He's also going through the pictures which depict the manner in which the rescue teams have put in a commendable effort in doing their job, rescuing people, bringing relief to the flood-affected masses in the state of Punjab. He also interacted with SDRF personnel earlier in Himachal Pradesh in the first leg of his two-state visit to take stock of the severe flood situation in the region. First stop was Himachal Pradesh, and now Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Punjab, engaging with important stakeholders as far as flood relief work is concerned. These are members of the relief and rescue teams, SDRF, NDRF, who are playing a key role in bringing relief to the people affected by severe flooding in the state of Punjab. Punjab, an important agrarian state, has been severely impacted by floods this season. And Prime Minister engaging with various stakeholders. He also engaged with the families, farmers of those affected by these floods in the state of Punjab. Earlier in Himachal Pradesh as well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi engaged with various stakeholders. He interacted with the locals, he interacted with the high-level officials, taking stock of the relief operation, also took an aerial survey of the flood-hit region and the landslide-hit regions in Himachal Pradesh. And thereafter, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Punjab, where he is interacting with various relief workers in Punjab and also taking stock of the manner in which relief work has been carried out in the state of Punjab. Those were visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi taking stock of the flood-hit Punjab, engaging with various stakeholders. On to our next big story. Nepalese Prime Minister PM Oli resigned on Tuesday after 19 protesters were killed and more than 300 injured during nationwide demonstrations on Monday against corruption and misrule in the country. President Ramchandra Podel has approved the resignation tendered by Prime Minister Oli with effect from today. Nepal is now under President's rule. Youth, meanwhile, continue to protest on the roads and government buildings have been attacked. On Tuesday, Singhu Darbar, Supreme Court, Special Court, Kathmandu District Courts and Parliament building were torched along with houses of many political leaders and current ministers. Kathmandu's Tribhuvan International Airport is closed as curfew continues till further notice. Meanwhile, Indigo has suspended all flights to and from Kathmandu in view of the closure of the Kathmandu airport. In its advisory, the airlines has said if the travel is impacted, passengers may conveniently opt for an alternative flight or claim a refund by visiting the website. The advisory added that airlines is closely monitoring the developments and coordinating with local authorities to resume operations at the earliest. Customers are advised to keep checking official channels for the latest advisories and updates. In view of the developing situation in Nepal, India has issued an advisory for its citizens in Nepal. Indian citizens are advised to defer travel there until the situation has stabilized. Indian citizens presently in Nepal are advised to shelter in their current places of residence and avoid going out onto the streets and exercise all due caution. They're also advised to follow local safety advisories from Nepal authorities as well as Embassy of India in Kathmandu. And in case any assistance is required, Indian citizens can call the Embassy of India in Kathmandu on the following helpline numbers. It's +977 980 860 2881. The second number is +977. That's the code 981 032 6134. I'll repeat the numbers once. +977. That's the code 980 860 2881. And the second number, we're also flashing it on the screen, is +977 981 032 6134. Those are the helpline numbers that Indian nationals in Nepal can make use of should they need any help from the embassy. Meanwhile, let's take stock from the ground. Joining us is Shweta Singh live from Kathmandu. Shweta, Nepal protests have quickly spiraled into full-blown political crisis with Prime Minister Oli's resignation. What happens next?
In fact, after PM Oli resigned, Chief Secretary of Government of Nepal issued a written request to public to maintain calm and allow political parties to now proceed but the same in the background the sound of curfew and they are on roads everywhere. Tires have been burnt here and people are really not bothered about the curfew and out here. Mostly these scooters and bikes are being used by all the youth who are displaying Nepal flag with slogans and they are going to the streets now.
Right, Shweta, also we're learning about how various government buildings have been torched by the protesters, put on fire. If you can bring us up to speed with the law and order situation in Kathmandu and elsewhere, because there is also an advisory for Indian nationals for their safety who may be residing in Nepal as we speak.
Yeah, so actually Supreme Court of Nepal, Parliament building, Singh Darbar, that is equal to North Block and South Block of India. They have been closed. Senior advocate of Nepal, his office have been closed. Or most of the senior political leaders' houses have been closed here. Stone pelting has been done on their offices. And so the leaders has also to rescue themselves. And you see the condition is really very unstable here because all the people in the background you see, especially youth, are out in spite of being there. Nepal army has been deployed, but what my observation is there are not many army men on the roads because there are more youth who are defying the rules, defying the orders. So the condition is really unstable presently.
Right, Shweta, I understand it's an evolving situation in Kathmandu and elsewhere in Nepal. But Prime Minister Oli's government is gone. It's president's rule in Nepal. What do the protesters demand next?
See, in fact, when this protest started, it was to curb corruption because youth complain that they are the one who are suffering because of corruption and because of political unwillingness to have a better future of Nepal. They are the one now, long months and months back. This Gen Z protest was ongoing on social media. But after the curve of social media, they came from virtual platform to the real ground. They protested against the corruption on real ground. But it took ugly face when 19 students died and 300 of the youth were injured and they were hospitalized in different hospitals across Nepal. You see, now with what were demanding, but they have to go. And as you see, already PM Oli have resigned. New government has to come up and take the charge. We have to wait and see how the situation evolves because now all the party will be meeting and they will be peacefully discussing as per the appeal that has been forwarded by Chief Secretary of Government of Nepal. We expect and we are waiting to see what will be the future, which party becomes the conducting from government. So it is really very quickly evolving situation.
Okay, appears like a fragile situation in Kathmandu and elsewhere in Nepal. Shweta, appreciate you joining us with those updates. On to our stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday reviewed the flood and landslide situation in the hilly state of Himachal Pradesh. Prime Minister conducted an aerial survey of the flood-hit regions, chaired a meeting in Kangra to review the relief and other efforts and the damage that has been incurred in the state. Prime Minister announced a financial assistance of rupees 1,500 crore for the state, including early release of second installment of SDRF and PM Kisan Samman Nidhi. Prime Minister Modi also met with families affected by the calamity and expressed his condolences for the loss of lives. He announced an ex gratia of rupees 2 lakh to the next of kin of the deceased and 50,000 to those seriously injured. PM Modi also met members of NDRF, SDRF and Abda Mitra teams and appreciated their efforts in relief and response measures. Prime Minister acknowledged the gravity of the situation and assured that central government will make all efforts to address the situation. After Himachal, Prime Minister Modi also visited flood-affected North Indian state of Punjab. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conducted an aerial survey to take stock of the flood-affected regions in the state of Punjab. And Prime Minister interacted with families of those who have been affected by the floods in Punjab. Also, Prime Minister Modi interacted with relief and rescue team members, National Disaster Response Force personnel and others. Moving on, voting has concluded for the vice presidential polls in India, with nearly 96% of total polling recorded till 3 p.m. local time. Senior ministers of the government, including Prime Minister, cast their vote this morning. The counting for the votes will begin from 6 p.m. and the results are expected to be announced by 7 p.m. local time. Parliamentarians cutting across party lines queued up to cast their vote inside the Parliament complex since morning today. The election is being contested between the NDA candidate C.P. Radhakrishnan and India Alliance candidate B. Sudarshan Reddy. Let's now turn to other stories making news around the world. The government of Australia has approved the proposed Great Koala National Park. The proposed park will connect the existing ones to create a 476,000 hectare park for koalas to thrive. Koalas have been classified as endangered in New South Wales, Australian Capital Territory and Queensland since 2022. A team of scientists from University of Oxford have scientifically developed a special yellow yeast, Yarovia lipotica, which will provide required nutrients to control the declining population of honeybees. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Some glimpses of Toronto International Film Festival. DD India caught up with music maestro A.R. Rahman.
This week on Defense Dynamics, from choke points to commands, the Indo-Pacific is on the edge. India and Singapore forge the Indo-Pacific shield. Can deterrence hold at sea lanes? GST 2.0, when tax reforms fuels combat readiness. China's Dragon Parade dazzles with power. What lies beneath the camouflage paint? And India's theatre commands are not an option but a necessity. Catch it all on Defense Dynamics this Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. South Korean activists rallied outside the US Embassy in Seoul on Tuesday, protesting massive American immigration raid in Georgia that detained some 300 South Koreans and 175 others at a $4.3 billion Hyundai LG Energy Solution battery plant. The raid, the largest single-site operation by the Department of Homeland Security in the US, targeted workers at the Hyundai electric vehicle battery facility. Meanwhile, Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi confirmed on Tuesday that 3 Japanese citizens were also among the 475 people, including 300 South Koreans, detained in a US immigration raid last week. Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, will elect a new leader on October 4th to replace the outgoing Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Ishiba announced his resignation on Sunday, that triggered a leadership race in the Liberal Democratic Party, with the winner facing a parliamentary vote to become Prime Minister. Sanai Taikichi, Shinjiro Koizumi and Yoshimasa Hayashi are potential candidates from the ruling party. Over 20 civilians were killed in a Russian airstrike on a village in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region, as per what Ukrainian President Zelensky said on Tuesday, calling for Kiev's allies to increase pressure on Moscow to end its war in Ukraine. He wrote on X, and I quote, "A brutally savage Russian airstrike with an aerial bomb on the rural settlement of Yarova and Donetsk in the Donetsk region, directly on the people," adding that the world must not remain silent, unquote. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar on Tuesday, speaking in Zagreb alongside Croatian Foreign Minister Gordon Grek-Radman, criticized Spain's ban on ships and aircraft carrying weapons to Israel, calling it anti-Semitic and influenced by propaganda. Spain, which recognized Palestine in May of 2024, imposed the ban on September 8th due to Israel's Gaza offensive, also barring entry to those involved.
That also for the sake of peace, it is very important to continue with this path of countries like Germany, like Italy, like Croatia, which understand that peace will be achieved in a bilateral context and not by decisions in Paris or Madrid.
The 14th edition of India-Thailand Joint Military Exercise Maitri is underway at the Umroi, Meghalaya. The Indian Army contingent is being represented by a battalion of the Madras Regiment. The Royal Thai Army contingent is represented by the 1st Infantry Battalion, 14th Infantry Brigade. The exercise aims to enhance interoperability, mutual understanding, joint operational capabilities under the umbrella of United Nations mandate. The exercise will continue until 14 September. Once again, we take you to Punjab, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is taking stock of the flood-affected regions in the state. Here in the visuals, Prime Minister Narendra Modi engaging with various stakeholders and reviewing the relief and rescue efforts in the flood-hit state of Punjab. The visuals and the presentation giving details of the manner in which Beas River and other regions have been affected by the unprecedented floods in the state of Punjab. Prime Minister engaging there in the review meeting with various stakeholders in the state of Punjab. Earlier today, Prime Minister also visited Himachal Pradesh and took stock of the flood-related damage in the state. And now, Prime Minister, as we speak, is in Punjab. He took an aerial survey earlier of the state of Punjab, particularly of the areas which have been severely impacted by the floods this season. Thereafter, Prime Minister engaged with the locals, or people whose lives have been directly impacted by the floods. He interacted with members of the relief and rescue teams. And here in the visuals, Prime Minister holding a review meeting in Punjab with a high-level delegation, taking stock of the relief and rescue effort and the way forward as far as providing support to people in Punjab is concerned. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting the state of Punjab today, which has been severely impacted by heavy rains and floods this monsoon season. Prime Minister began his visit with an aerial survey of the regions most affected by floods in the North Indian state of Punjab. It's an important agrarian state. He engaged with various stakeholders to understand the concerns of the locals and farmers. Prime Minister in these visuals is engaging with high-level delegation. It's a review meeting to take stock of the relief and rescue effort undertaken in the aftermath of the flood situation in Punjab. Prime Minister earlier also engaged with the locals to understand the challenges that they're facing in the face of these floods. And he also engaged with members of the relief and rescue teams to take forward the government's support for flood-hit Punjab. Moving on, Bangladesh's largest Islamist party, Jamaat-e-Islami, has reignited debate over the role of religion in education by urging the government to replace music and dance teachers in primary schools with religious instructors. In a statement issued on Sunday, Jamaat Secretary General Mia Ghulam Pawar argued that music and dance do not align with what is described as moral and cultural values of society. The proposal has sparked criticism from educationists and cultural activists who warned that such measures could undermine Bangladesh's tradition of secular education and its rich cultural heritage. Some other stories now. Indian music composer A.R. Rahman has composed music for Gandhi web series directed by Hansal Mehta. First 2 episodes of the web series screened at the Toronto International Film Festival. He tells DD India's Munmun Bhattacharya about his approach towards composing music for Gandhi in this exclusive conversation.
Academy Award-winning music composer A.R. Rahman is with us here in Toronto. What was your approach to music composition, because it's such a historically significant theme?
I think the flavor of Gandhiji is in our every cell of our body, our soul, and what he stood for. And so the music actually had to be with the story within South Africa, England, Gujarat, and other parts of India. So it came from these scenes in the story, part of the story. And of course we have the famous bhajans, Vaishnava Janato and Raghupati Raghurajaram. These ragas are also influencing, right? When you make any tune, I was trying to base it on these ragas.
So was it a challenge to navigate the two worlds, appealing to the global audience and also staying true to his Indian roots?
Yeah, in a way, the story demands a certain kind of a sensibility and certain kind of a scope of sweets, and we followed what the movie demanded. In some cases, it was more the soul of what the character is playing, bringing that soul, or what he has to become, or even preempting what he's going to become, right?
So did you add to the storytelling through your music?
In a way, yes. And if you look at the title sequence, the complexity of his life comes through all the emotions, harmony, and the melody.
So did you use diverse musical instruments to show the cultural and geographical diversity?
Yes. In Gujarat, we used the alguza, kind of a flute, and folk voices, and matkas and everything. In Africa, South Africa, more of African instruments like a niyatiti and kora and those things. And in England, of course, Western orchestra, horns and strings and oboes and flutes and all the stuff, yeah.
That was an exclusive conversation with music maestro A.R. Rahman with cameraman Y.K. Loknath. This is Munmun Bhattacharya from Toronto for DD India.
That's all in this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on your screens and download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.